Today's guests are for fans of Frank Zappa, The Talking Heads, King Crimson, and Black Midi. The frenetic six-piece has established their territory in Chicago's vast music scene, and they're coming to Televised Magazine right now to talk all about it. Cowboy Neal, welcome to Televised. I'll give everybody a chance to introduce themselves.
Hey there. I'm Ian. Yeah, I'm with Cowboy Neal. Uh, do a lot of the writing, play guitar, and I sing. Um,
I'm Sam. I play mainly guitar now, occasionally
yeah,
sometimes bass and guitar for Cowboy Neal.
and you're singing.
And I sing, and I
Yeah,
just sang for the first time at our last show,
check out the pipes on this
which
guy.
was huge for me. And I've been playing with Cowboy Neal. I don't want to get this wrong, but I think since 2023
Yeah,
is
maybe the
when I
tail end of
first
yeah,
jammed, had played
yeah.
songs
We
with you
met at
guys.
the Raven, I think.
We met at
Yeah,
the Raven. What we played a show together before, yeah, with
yeah,
another band, and then it was.
yeah.
I think I officially
What a rush.
we had a practice together
Yeah. So
in August of 2023.
yeah,
Okay, you jumped the gun and kind of answered half of my question for you there.
yeah.
So, well, no, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm giving you shit. We'll save the other half for later.
Nice.
Penn and Kenzie, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'll go first. My name is Pen. I'm another vocalist in Cowboy Neal. That is like my main shtick.
And then hi, I'm Kenzie, and I am also a vocalist on Cowboy Neal.
Sweet. It's great to have all of you here. No Shade on North Ave is the newest release. The press release says it's a song about overcoming artistic fear. What does that mean to you guys, and how did putting that in a song help any of you overcome maybe your own artistic fear?
Yeah, I just feel like it was such a I especially like reading about so many artists that are established and hearing that like the doubt that they experienced earlier in their career and then knowing so many young artists and sort of trying to affirm each other and sharing that. Um, so putting this song together was sort of seeing something through to completion, feeling proud about it, not getting too wrapped up in like perfection
Yeah.
um, was very gratifying. But then it's also affirming and reaffirming to everyone who's associated with the project. And it's collaborative, so it's very fun to put our heads together and then like playing it live too. Like we played a show last Friday, yeah, like 3 days ago. And it was cool. We had the crowd singing the chorus back to us. That's the first time something like that has happened. So
Yeah, what was
um,
that? What was that like playing it live and getting that crowd participation and that crowd feedback too?
yeah,
It was awesome. It was so cool. It was a really fun crowd, and well, it was the second time we had played it. We had played it once before
yeah,
at a gig a while ago in March, but now it's been released on streaming, and we've been promoting it a little bit more, and so
hmm
it was cool to see people singing along and getting really into it, and it's cool whenever you see someone like take a verse or something or
yeah,
take a solo and people are like woo, and you're
yeah,
like that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because it
because
can be good.
Kenzie.
Oh yeah, it was definitely really crazy, especially I feel. I'm new to Cowboy Neal as of like this year,
Okay.
um, and so I wasn't like trained as like a singer or anything, and I started singing as I got older. So I have like some like imposter syndrome about like
Mhm.
singing sometimes, and because I'm like, oh, I haven't been doing music as long as everybody else. Um, so sometimes I would get a little nervous, but then seeing everyone, um, seeing No Shade on North Ave was like so it was really like that moment you like see videos of like singers and artists like they like look at the crowd and they're like, whoa, that's crazy. Like it really did feel like that. It really was like um it was really great. I had a lot of friends that were like, "Oh my God, I've been streaming this song. Like, I can't wait to like hear it live." And I was like, "Oh my God, people are excited for our song!" Like,
Yeah.
that, that's a feeling I have really never experienced before, and
Mhm.
it was really great. It was awesome.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, when you're working on a song, you can kind of envision like this is the point I want to get across. I hope audiences can take even a little bit of that, but it's a whole different beast when you see it in person, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Ian, you're on bass on the song, right?
On the recording, I'm on bass and guitar. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Um, the bass is really interesting in that song. How did those bass harmonics kind of come in? How did you decide they were the right fit for the song? What was that whole process like with the bass specifically?
we had like me, Sam, and Ben, our drummer, had been hired to do like a cocktail gig. I mean, it was just sort of like 3 hours of jamming.
Mhm.
And what's great about that is you can be sort of like self-indulgent and sort of stretch an idea out for like 15 minutes and really find stuff. So I think the initial thing was we found this groove with Ben hitting a nice like cool shuffle, the Purdy shuffle. And I started playing this like bass chord. These like I think pretty neat bass shapes, these like thumping bass chords. And then from there sort of found this main melody for the verses. So I sort of sat on that for a while and then independently just messing around with harmonics. I think at that time I was sort of working on like learning a lot of like Jaco Pastorius stuff on
Mhm.
bass, and obviously he's so like harmonic heavy.
Yeah.
And then but what I like is he'll play harmonics and then he's so like sustaining notes while the harmonics are ringing out. So then that was a bit of a focus. Um and then my first instrument is bass. So of course, like thinking it's like I try not to neglect it.
Yeah.
And then so it was very like um important. I just see the bass as like rhythmic and melodic at the same time. So it's like how do you sort of own the high end on a bass and then also realize it's like rhythmic potential. So that was a big
Mhm.
focus.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people tend to overlook bass sometimes, and I can't remember if it was YouTube or TikTok. I saw something probably about a year ago now of like songs with and without bass, and it's like, okay, well, this Metallica song, you're not going to notice the bass until it's gone,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
Yeah.
and then its
Yeah.
absence is uh very evident. But I'm glad the bass is very prominent in this song. It helps. It's the glue, is what I'm trying to say, that keeps it together.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
And Penn, your background vocals on the song sort of echo a sentiment from the press release about the song, kind of parts of the song being like the calm both before and after the storm, in the sense of like also rounding out the sound, while having like an angelic quality to the vocals. When Ian presented you this song, what were your initial thoughts on how you'd maybe factor into that final cut?
Um, I think my like first impressions were sort of like I don't know, my job in the band has always sort of been to ride that like high soprano angelic line
Hmm.
in the back. And so I was mostly focused on like trying to keep that clarity, I suppose, like trying to um keep it light but still like nice and powerful still. Like it's subtle, but once you realize it's there, it's kind of it adds like a whole
A whole new
new
element.
texture to everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that response. It does sort of round everything out. Switching over to Sam, you kind of teased it a little bit earlier. How did the opportunity come to join Cowboy Neal, and what has your experience been like as part of the band over the last, you said 2 years, 2.5 years?
Yeah, in 2.5 years. Yeah, something so I was friends. We had a mutual friend, Maddie Jones, who used to be the other guitar player for
Mhm.
Cowboy Neal,
Hmm.
who had to leave because she moved to Los Angeles to pursue a career in music business and
Yeah.
her making her own music and stuff. And it's awesome. It's super
Yeah.
cool. And so I just kind of texted you, and I had never met him before, but like I knew that there was this vacancy in this band, and I had seen them play before at like the hottest, sweatiest house show of all time
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah.
I forget where, but I thought it was really
Fire
cool.
hazard.
Yeah, it was a fire hazard of a show, but it was really fun. I remember like, so I'd been a fan and I'd seen them play
Yeah.
before, and I was like, this is a really cool band. And I remember I saw them play, and he did like this like narration bit in between songs, which like he had the whole audience close their eyes and like imagine stuff in their mind before
What? So
playing
it's
this
like
next
creating
song.
a whole narrative world through the concerts. I want to ask about that later, for
Yeah,
sure.
so I thought that was interesting, and so it was always a band like local band that I had been interested in, and then it was like, oh my God, like there's a vacancy for a guitar player. I should try and jump on this opportunity. Texted Ian maybe a few times before I got a response, but
You were
and then
persistent.
I was persistent. Yeah, and then eventually, um, and then that was like over the summer, and then I think maybe like August or September we had our. He sent me some recordings. I had learned this stuff. Um, I learned these guitar parts, and they just like really stood out to me as like very unique things that I had never really played before. A lot of stuff that I just wasn't used to playing, and so I was really eager to like try and just like learn new things on the guitar. We had our first practice, and everyone was really good, and it was super awesome, and the songs are really fun to play. Like when everyone has their parts down and like and it works, and it's really cool, and it's a
Yeah, it's always a magical feeling.
fun
Yeah.
time. Yeah, for sure.
Ties everything together.
Mhm.
So Ian, what is this about? You like making the audience close their eyes and having a little narrative throughout the concerts? I just want to know more about this.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, like I'm like a huge jackass for like 3.5 minutes. I like uh there's a song that will be released hopefully shortly within the next like 2, 3 months, called Game of Chess. I can't even really remember how this came about, but um it's right at the end of the set. It's the last song. So to sort of set it up, I have the band going to this like funk, like James Brown, sort of just like D minor,
Okay.
whatever. They're jamming. That serves as an opportunity to introduce the band, talk about whatever,
Yeah.
social media. Anyways, we get that out of the way, and then I set up a game of chess and sort of waste everyone's time fashion, but it is like uh, I'd say we're doing crowd participation, but don't worry, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is close your eyes and think. And then I start describing, like, think of the most comfortable chair you're sitting in, think about someone you love sitting across from you. And I describe this board game without naming it explicitly. And I'm explaining the board game, and it goes on for way too long. And the band gets annoyed. And we go, and you're going, we go. And it's sort of the audience, I hope, enjoys it. And then I sort of cut it and introduce the next song. We go right into it, and it has sort of a slow startup, and then it really comes in with the full band pretty quickly. So it's I think it's we've started calling it story time, like this little
Yeah.
section. And I don't I it's a fan came up at one show and was just like, "Oh, I love that story time," and I was like, "Great,"
And it
because I've been
stuck.
putting. Yeah, because I've just been putting it down as D minor jam on the set list, so I like story time a lot more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it gives it like an official name. It feels more official.
yeah.
Um, Kinsey, a question for you is you keep yourself really busy. Second City, Spades Table, Cowboy Neal. How do you just manage everything that goes on in your personal and professional life?
You know, hope and like prayer, like a lot, like hoping it comes together. I have so I've been an actor at Second City for a few months now, since like June,
Okay.
and I have been a part of the Spades Table since I think maybe like July, and then I also film. I do like this quirky little YouTube show about vegetables that I have to
Yeah.
like time for, and then also band stuff. I think I have a really good balance around it. I kind of will just like write stuff down on a piece of paper and be like, I hope I remember this. And
Mhm.
sometimes you drop a ball and that's okay. I'm a
Yeah.
big proponent of like sometimes things get a little sticky and that is okay and it's not the end of the world. But I also really love what I do. I love every aspect. I love the Cowboy Neal. I love doing sketch shows in theater and filming, and it makes it really easy to organize when I'm enjoying my work and enjoying what I'm doing. When we like our like rehearsal for the show we just did was um I don't know how long, but it was in this uh it was in
A
this
bunker, basically.
A bunker.
Yeah, yeah.
it was in this tiny little room, and there's so many of us and so many cables and cords.
Hmm.
It just we rehearsed and we just like jammed, and it was so hot in there, and it was so hot, and we were just like, but it was so much fun, and it's always really fun getting to see everyone, so it doesn't even feel like we're like locked in, but it doesn't feel like it's like work that's taking a lot of like mental brain energy. Like it just like
Yeah.
feels like fun that we're having, and so it makes it so much more awesome. And then getting to do the show, and it just is a lot more fun when we are having fun.
Yeah. The old saying is, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, or
Yeah,
however it
that's
goes.
like
So it feels like that helps you a lot. Speaking of Second City, like your guys' connection to Second City stood out to me. I'm a big sketch comedy fan. I'm reading Martin Short's book right now, and he talks a lot about his upbringing in Second City, Toronto. You guys scored a live sketch comedy show at one point. I saw that on the Instagram. Can anyone
Yeah.
elaborate on that for me?
Yeah, well, Kenzie was in the cast
Okay.
as a performer. It was like right around the time that we met. We did two of these shows. So we did one in June, like, oh God, yeah, August of last year. And then we did one in March, or I guess 2 years ago, and then March of this year. But yeah, so I mean, typically, like the way, at least the way Second City or a lot of Chicago like sketch works is like there's like a music director that sits at like a grand piano with like a laptop and hits like sound cues.
Hmm.
I didn't have a laptop and I don't really play piano, so it was sort of like, well, shit, but I still want to do this. And they were like, well, you play guitar, so you should direct this. But what I really know is like directing a band. So we got a three-piece together. The first time it was me, Sam, and Ben, and then the second time it was me, Will, our bass player, and
Hmm.
and Ben. And yeah, I mean it's an hour show, so I built a lot of sounds in like Logic that were cued that I would cue for, and then it was a lot of. I mean, it's like if it's almost like they like show silent films nowadays, and they'll like have like the pianist like
Yeah.
just sort of watching it and improvising to some extent. That is sort of what we were doing. Not a lot of improv for it, but it was like basically constant sound and trying to find the right mood and knowing when to play, when not to play, mixing and switching instruments and trying to complement it because ideally as a music director they don't really notice you because it's sort of seamless, but then you have a band
Right.
in this small enough space, like 120 seats, and you have a drummer, so it's like how do you find that balance? So yeah, we did this like, I guess with the band, it was like 9 people involved with the
Mhm.
show, but it was super fun.
Yeah, it seems like one of those experiences that you never know you want to have until you get it.
Mhm.
Is that Kinsey, is that how you guys met, or did you guys know each other before that? You said you met around the time, right?
yeah. So me and Ian met at Second City when I started working there last May. It was last May, somewhere around there, and we realized that we wanted to be best friends, basically, and we that's when we met. My first introduction to Cowboy Neal was through the sketch show, I believe,
Hmm.
and um, there was, I think, a time when they also played at Second City within like the restaurant that was within Second City, and sometimes they would do like there was like it was like you, maybe Sam and Ben, Ian,
Mhm.
and y'all were playing in 1959, um, and just like freestyling, and I think that was more of my introduction to y'all to like doing your own thing that wasn't like for like sketch or like a show or something. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And
Yeah.
then it asked me to be a part of Cowboy Neal this year.
Well, let me say because I saw Kenzie do live band karaoke at like this holiday party,
Okay.
and you did the CeeLo Green censored version. No, it was not the censored version. It was explicit. but she, killed it and carried the tune, and that's huge. Like just
Mhm.
carrying a tune with like a lot of charisma and confidence. And I was like, okay, well, great. Like I know she's coming from a different background, but this is like sort of a perfect fit. And I had been looking for another vocalist because I had written a lot of the music with like two vocalists in mind or three. Um, so yeah, it was sort of perfect. And then, Kenzie's got a lower register, and with I've always thought of Penn as doing like vocal acrobatics. So it's nice to sort of have a lot of different vocal ranges to build harmonies with.
Yeah, you guys all play off of each other very well. One last question specifically for Ian because I'm a huge Zappa fan. You got to sit in with Dweezil Zappa's band, right? Tell us about that experience.
Dude, that was like very surreal because I like Frank Zappa a
Yeah.
lot, especially in high school. I feel like that's something I came across that sort
Mhm.
of shaped a lot of my musical like curiosity. And yeah, I was doing this after school program, and he had like sort of partnered with them, and so got the opportunity where like my music director at the time just was like, yeah, I mean, we had to choose a student, and you're the Zappa freak, so we're gonna get you connected. And it was sort of like it was at the Vic, which is a
Yeah.
massive venue in the city.
Really.
And it was sort of just like I get a call from like the sound guy, and he's like, come down this alley. Do you see me? And I'm like,
Doesn't
yeah.
sound sketch at all.
Doesn't sound sketch at all. And then, but I saw the bass player smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, oh my God, I know you. Like I've watched your
Mm.
performances. And then yeah, his son, I mean, it's sort of like the door opens up, and then I'm on the stage, and it's Dweezil, and I'm like, I immediately go on stage and shake his hand. And it was so weird because obviously he looks like his dad
Yeah.
so much. And um, he sort of gave me a rundown. Let me play his guitar, which is like the top three strings are fretless and the bottom three strings are fretted.
What?
Fucking bizarre because he plays all these like high end licks that he wants fretless sound for.
Mm.
I don't understand. I mean, bark like most chords are impossible with that guitar, but he
Yeah.
played it for a lot of it. And then yeah, it was the first song for the encore. They did his song Muffin Man, which is
Mhm.
sort of a perfect, F sharp minor jam. And yeah, I just got into it. Was like very grateful and honored that I was included with it. The crowd was really excited. I mean, that was like sold out too. So it was, I mean, I think they were just like, oh, who is this kid? What's this kid gonna get up to? And
Yeah.
then I think I was able to sort of, at least hold my own with them. So that was one of the cooler experiences. I was like 16 or 17, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was like um, crazy, super crazy. And I knew people who were in the audience that I didn't tell purposely
So they
that
were
I
all
was there.
shocked.
Yeah, they shit their fucking pants. They were like, dude, I saw this guy yesterday. So yeah, that really made me laugh.
Yeah. Once in a lifetime experience, huh?
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, thank you guys for joining me. This all came together really fast, and the email was my discovery into you guys. So I'm glad that I found you guys and found your music. Before we go, where can fans find you on social media?
You can check me out at Cowboy Neal at the Wheel. That's our main account where we plug everything. Cowboy Neal Band on TikTok. And then really like Spotify. Yeah, I mean that's got all our music or Apple Music. I mean it's sort of everywhere. Deezer, that's still around. Um, but but yeah, we're getting started. We're going to be releasing pretty consistently throughout the year, a lot of singles. So
Yeah, big stuff coming in 2026. And the question that I end every interview with is, can everybody tell their three favorite songs at the moment? Like, what's your on repeat? Kinsey, I saw your face right when I was saying that. And I was like, oh, you either have a whole list or nothing at all. And you're going to be
I have
struggling or,
I have a whole list. So
okay,
I have a not super consistent like music taste. I'm kind of all over the board
so am I.
genre.
So,
But right now it's Midnight Sun by Zara Larsson.
okay,
Well,
I've heard every person I've heard talk about that album waxes poetic about it. They love it. And I have not
it's
heard it yet. I have not heard it yet.
beautiful, it's fun, it's like summer, and it's really fun to listen to because it's 5 degrees here in Chicago. So Midnight Zara Larsson, um, Perfect Celebrity Lady Gaga,
Yep, I
and
loved that. I loved that Gaga album.
oh my god, so Mayhem was
Whole
insane.
album was great.
And probably Forest, System of a Down.
Okay. That kind of shows a different side of your music taste.
I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
Okay.
no.
Who's up next?
Whoa. I'll say the band Cortex and the song La Rue.
Okay. I've never heard of them. That's part
Also,
of why I asked this question is because I always end up discovering new stuff through it. So
it just hits.
yeah. Any other ones you
Mhm.
want to say? Or
Yeah, I will also say, oh, okay, well, I listened to this last night for the first time since high school, and it really took hold of me
yeah.
emotionally. But A Certain Romance by the Arctic Monkeys
Okay.
from their first album, man, that was so good. I haven't heard it since I was probably like 17, and I was like on the bus. I was like, wait a minute. And then I listened to it, I was like, wow, this is an amazing song.
Yeah.
So good.
Um, Ian or Penn?
Take it, man.
Okay, okay. Um, I feel like I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of Hiatus Coyote lately, as
Mhm.
has nearly everybody else that I know. Um, yeah, their whole project is just super solid, and I saw them live at some point. It blew my fucking mind. Um, but yeah, I've also been really enjoying Adele's new album. Um, I love pop music.
Yeah.
Um, especially like, like experimental pop is really something that I've always been into. And I'm always looking for like the next great pop artist who's gonna blow my mind.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
last year we had Chapel Roan. This year, did we really have anybody reach the super duper high highs? So who knows who the next big
Mm.
pop artist will be in 2026?
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I've got Where Is My Husband? The new, what is it, Ray song? That's
Right. Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That vocal breakdown. Burn This Disco Out, that Michael Jackson song
Yeah.
that ends off the wall. That's just crazy. That bass line is so gnarly.
I feel like Off the
And
Wall is very underrated, but also when you have Thriller and Bad both coming after it in his
yeah.
discography, it gets overpowered super easily, but it's very underrated.
Yeah, and I think it's my favorite of the three. I mean, it's Quincy Jones on all. He
Yeah.
just, I think, the stretch of the three. And then this one's sort of more out of left field, but David Lynch put
Yeah.
out Polish Night Music, which is like
Okay.
part of the soundtrack for like Inland Empire, which is like my favorite movie ever. And it's like all over the movie, but the album's like an hour and a half long, and he made it with this like Polish composer. And there's
What?
a song called Night Interiors on there. And I don't know if I'm just like moody as fuck right now with the winter, but it has been hitting the spot.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because this was my big like David Lynch discovery year. I watched Twin Peaks for the first time. I watched that short film that he did on Netflix a few years ago for the first
Mhm.
time, Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet, all that stuff. But I haven't gone into his music at all. So when you said David Lynch, I was caught off guard because I was like, "Are you gonna mention a movie or what?" No, I didn't know he had
He's
one.
weird,
I
man. He's
haven't
a
seen
weird.
Inland Empire. That's the one that he filmed on like a like $5,000 Digicam, right?
Yo, yeah, dude. It's
Yeah,
really
I've read
yeah.
into it, but I haven't seen it yet. I'll need to. Thanks for
Sweet.
the suggestions, and thanks everybody for joining me. Everybody, Cowboy Neal's Instagram and Spotify will be in the description. I had so much fun talking to you guys,
Yeah, appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
of course. And thank you to everybody for watching, and we'll see you all later. Have a good one.
Sounds good.